I'm on the site of the former Calverton Colliery, and I'm here for a particular purpose and a particular species. A species whose caterpillar I've never thought that I would be looking for in Nottinghamshire. And that caterpillar is the caterpillar of the Blossom Underwing. It's a spring flying species, very similar to small quaker. It's a moth that I've never seen, and there's good reason for that, because it's only really just turned up again in Nottinghamshire, as it has over much of the UK. Here it is. What a beauty. Well, the caterpillars have actually proved quite easy to find with a little bit of patience, and there seems to be two sort of age ranges. I found very young caterpillars that seem to be quite gregarious but in small groups, and they're found like this at the end of these oak branches where the new growth is just starting to open up. But then you get these single caterpillars living in little silken tents where the leaves are pulled together, and you can see that caterpillar that's in there, and they are beautifully marked caterpillars too. There's that little silken tent there, and there's another one here. And I know nothing about these caterpillars other than what I'm finding now. I've not read up about them, but they have been quite an easy find. In order to see one, I'm going to have to take it out of its little silken chamber. And this one might retreat now. I've sort of opened it up to the elements, sat along the midrib of this oak leaf. You can see where it's been eaten at the end of this leaf. And this is about mid-range between the largest that I've found and the very smallest, but they all have that distinct yellow stripe running dorsally along the body. They're also marked in yellow on the sides. You may just be able to catch a glimpse of there. I don't want to move this leaf too much because I don't want it to drop. But this is the caterpillar of Blossom Underwing. It's a cracking little thing. And I'm surprised at the age range of the caterpillars that I'm finding. Oak is the food plant, obviously, but it's got such an interesting history in Nottinghamshire. It did occur here sporadically over a century ago, and Nottinghamshire had its first in over 100 years at Martin Gray's Broadholme Garden, right on the border between Nottinghamshire and Lincolnshire. And then we went a number of years, 8 years, and it was 2019, and Tim Sexton trapped one at Attenborough Nature Reserve. But then there was another gap. But in 2024, we had a number of records in Nottinghamshire, and again in 2025, and I know there's been at least one in 2026. This is certainly a second one, but the important thing about Nick and Samantha's discovery here is that this is the first confirmed breeding of Blossom Underwing in Nottinghamshire. It might be the first confirmed ever. These may well be the first larvae ever found, and I think they are. I have no reason to suspect that the larva has been recorded before. I think this is one of those species that's probably fairly widespread in Nottinghamshire now. Might have a southern bias, as most of the records in Nottinghamshire from the last couple of years have. It's very much a southeast species in Nottinghamshire and the lower Trent Valley. But how many other larvae are elsewhere on oaks in Nottinghamshire? I never thought I'd be filming these. Still can't wait to trap one, but I've got to wait till around March time before I have another chance. And if I can hold this steady and in the right position, here we have some early instar Blossom Underwing caterpillars. There's at least 3 in this web, so I'm presuming that the moth lays in small groups, maybe just up to about half a dozen eggs. And you're looking for a scruffy web, but where these were, there were 3 spiders on the end, so these larvae can live a precarious life. Well, here's a caterpillar that must be well on the way to being full grown. You can see how attractive they are, and that really broad lateral stripe. This one I did catch as it was spiralling down towards the ground. This hobby's amazing. You never know what you're going to see from one year to the next. I didn't expect to see or even be looking for the caterpillars of Blossom Underwing in Nottinghamshire in 2026. Yet here we are. On the site of a former colliery. These colliery sites, they give back so much in terms of wildlife. They're wonderful places. But where else in Nottinghamshire are these caterpillars tucked away at the end of an oak branch? But a very successful visit to the former Calverton colliery site here in Nottinghamshire, and successfully managed to take a few larvae and take them home, rear them to photograph for the website. But that won't be until March of 2027. But I never thought that I'd be able to come and collect caterpillars of Blossom Underwing, and these will all be released when they hatch as adults. Amazing discovery by Nick and Sam yet again. Just shows the rewards that you can get from entomology if you put the effort in and the hours. That's what it's all about. With any hobby, you will always get your rewards for the amount of time and effort you put in. Nice to know that Blossom Underwing has indeed colonised Nottinghamshire, possibly for the first time. I think so, and it will remain to be seen how common it does come to those of us who trap in the early months of the year. I can't wait for 2027 already, just so I can see one of these with wings.